Hi, my name is Stacy Brodzik. I'm the apprentice chair for the PNBOA, and I'm the lead trainer for the apprentice program. We're going to take you through some lessons in all of the signals and mechanics that officials need to do well on the floor. So come along with us and let's get started. If I didn't check you off my list, make sure you let me know that you were here, okay? So hi, how's everybody doing? Good, good. This may be our last content class. So if you've made all the classes here, maybe you won't have to come next week, but I'm going to be here next week for people who miss things or want to go over things. So we'll see how far we get today, okay? Anybody have any questions about the stuff we did last week? Yeah.
I was just looking at the book. What's the difference between an umpire and a referee?
Nothing really. The umpire tosses the ball, and the referee chops, starts the game. I mean, you know how we did jump balls? So the umpire tosses the ball, and the referee stands by the table and chops the clock in, and then after that, they're pretty simple. Okay. The only thing is, if there has to be some kind of a judgment made on the floor that's like not in the rule book and so forth, it's kind of on the umpire, but he's going to talk to the other guy anyways. So there's really not a big difference. Anybody else? Okay, so today we're going to talk about the whole foul calling, reporting, mechanics of the free throws. That's the big piece. And then we're going to talk a little bit about a couple other things, but that's the big piece, okay? Okay, so if you were at the class on Monday night, you heard Steve talk about like the rules about free throws, okay? So come on over here. So on a free throw, let's say the table's over there, okay? So on a free throw, the calling official is going to report the foul and stay there as the trail. Whoever called the foul, doesn't matter where they were. That means the other official is going to be the lead over here. Okay, so we're opposite from each other. Okay? So what does this guy do? He's responsible, come over here. You look official with your shirt on. So he's responsible for the low person here and the people over here. Okay? The trail's responsible for the two high people, the shooter, and anybody behind the arc. Okay? And basically they're looking to see if anybody goes in too soon, if anybody disconcerts somebody else to make them go in too soon, that kind of stuff. If the free throw shooter goes over the line, okay? The limitations for the people on the lane are different from the limitations on the people outside the lane, okay? So these people, except for the shooter, can go in as soon as the shot's released. But the shooter and everybody back here has to wait till it hits the rim, okay? And the people back here that aren't the shooter have to stay behind, extend the free throw lane all the way to the sides. They have to stay behind the free throw line and outside the three-point circle. Okay? Everybody got that visual? Okay. So nobody can charge in from out there until the ball hits the rim. And that's the trails. Okay? Okay, so then what's this guy going to do? He's standing here, and the guy reports the foul, right? And then he comes into the middle, and he'll say, 2 shots, okay? This should be loud. Your presence is felt here. You don't want to hide behind the players and kind of go 2 shots. You want to come in here, loud voice, 2 shots, okay? Give him the ball, bounce the ball. And then you come back over here, outside the lane line off the court. If it's the last free throw, you're going to come a little bit wider so you can referee the rebound. Okay? I'm going to back up just a little bit before you do that. Before you go in to say how many shots, you're going to check with your partner that they're ready. And since that guy called the foul, I would like that person, guy or gal, to give a visual of what we're shooting. to this person so that we're communicating, okay? So he's going to look over there, he's going to get the all clear, come in, bounce the ball, okay? And that's how it goes. Now before the last free throw, so if there's 2 free throws, it's before the second. If there's 3 free throws, it's before the third. If there's a 1-and-1, it's right away. You want to make sure there's no subs at the table, okay? So that's really the trail's responsibility because the trail's right there. But if the trail doesn't see them for whatever reason, they sneak up. Sometimes you look, nobody's there, and then they sneak up. So this guy should get in the habit of just looking over there. And if he sees subs at the table, just tell your partner, we got subs, then that guy can bring him in. You don't want to bring him in from here. You just ask your partner to do that. Okay? Okay. Last shot. Whenever it's the last shot, we might have a miss or we might have a make, right? If it's a make, then this person here has to chop the clock in, right? So it's a make. Now it's like a thrower, right? Like you practice, chop the clock in. Okay? If it's a miss, that person's going to chop it in. And so what happens is on the last, if you're like, just make believe I'm Fred, okay? Last free throw goes up. As it's being shot, I always put my arm up, take a step towards the end line. If it's a miss, I'll chop it when it gets touched. And if it's a make, I just drop my hand and we're good to go. Okay?
Wait, say that again?
So last shot, guy has the ball,
Yeah.
right? I keep saying guy, but I mean anybody. Has the ball. As soon as it's released, I put my outside arm up, take a step down towards the end line so I have a good look for rebounding. And if he misses it, as soon as it's touched by a player, I chop it, and we continue. If it's a make, I just drop my arm because the lead's going to do the chopping. Okay? We're going to do this. Everybody's going to have a chance to excel like we always do. Okay? Did I miss anything as far as that goes? Yeah. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, reporting fouls. Because we're going to do this whole sequence. You're going to call a foul, you're going to say color, number, foul, consequence, you're going to run to the table, you're going to report to the table, we're going to line up. Okay? So, let's say I call a foul here, right? White tag, hit, 2 shots. I haven't moved, okay? And then I'm going to run around the players. You never go through them. Anybody know why you don't want to go through the players? Yeah, so you could cause problems if you're in there. So you just want to run around them. You want to get into the reporting area, okay? The reporting area is top of the circle to top of the circle, like volleyball line-ish volleyball line. It's huge. So you don't have to run 2 feet in front of the table. You just have to get into that area. So once you're in it, you stop, and you do the same thing you did there, except you show the number. So I'll say, what did I have? Red 5 hit. So I'll say red 5 hit 2. The only difference is you're displaying the number. We're using two-handed reporting, so you have to do it backwards to you, so it's frontwards to the table. So 13 is this. To me, it looks like 31, but out there it's 13. Okay? So you do that, you turn around. By then, your partner has got everybody lined up. Everybody's good to go. And off we go. Last thing, the 2 lower positions, which are the ones right above the block, have to be filled by defensive players. Okay? That's a must. The next 2 can be filled by the offense, but if they don't want them, the defense can take them. And the next 2 can be filled by the defense, but if they're shuffling around, anybody, people have to take them, and if they don't, anybody can go. The only limit is total, there can only be 4 defense and 2 offense. Okay? So if the offense backs up for whatever reason, we can't have 6 defensive players. Okay? Okay, so we're going to go in 2 lines. One up there and one over here. Maybe should we divide these? There's not enough room. We'll have one up there and one over here. This person's going to call a foul, is going to report the foul. That person's going to come down here and get ready for the free throw. We're going to go as far as the first shot. Does that make sense? Okay. Dick,
Shooter, you okay, shooter? Okay, here we go. We're gonna shoot 2.
Except this is going to be the last shot.
Yep.
Okay, next 2. Look, we're not doing bird dogs anymore. We're not doing bird dogs anymore, so just this guy.
Supposed to let them know. White, 23 with the block, shooting 2.
Just don't say with it, just say block. Hold on a second. So my one thing for you is when we do 4, we only want to use minimal words. So instead of with a, we're just say white, 23 block, 2. Okay? Okay?
Alright, so like I was saying, you want to be a good angle so that you want to see the seam pressure. So if they cross early, opposite line, then you have everything outside. Alright, then you put your left hand up to top the block and you count with the right hand. Alright, so let's try that.
So make sure don't do that yet. Take a step. Take a step.
Now your arm goes up. Right, because you're waiting. Yeah, right. And then the count, once they get possession of the ball, they can move either way, but once you see them, then you start to I step back because they can have the whole line. Yeah, I want to get wide, step back, and you can observe that. Yep.
Next guy. We're all here to the fire. Fist up.
Hang on. Whistle gone. I got a white 44 with the ball. 2 shots.
Okay, we will work with him.
Yep.
This is his first class.
We got a white 44. We shoot 2.
What kind of foul was it?
Oh. Chop.
Do the whole thing. Do the whole thing. That's
Hit. Numbers blue.
color, number, foul, consequence.
I got white 4-4 with the hit. We'll shoot 2.
Okay. Now you come over here. And then just gonna help over here.
What's the report? You want to be at a good angle to look at the free throw shooter. Right? At the same time, what you can't, once you get the ball, he's about to release, hands up, and you want to count. Okay. Count to see that when you're about to release, just hands straight up. So right now you're just counting. You don't count until he has possession of the ball. All right, and then once he releases, hands up, you take a step in to get to cover. Gotcha. Okay. So you have the opposite lane and everybody on the outside. Gotcha. So right now you're just counting. You just have 1 shot.
Last shot.
One more. Just like 1. We're gonna line up. Yep. Right. Count. Hand up. Chop. So is this? That would be his whistle. But I'm not supposed to watch the ball.
You're not supposed to watch the
Right. I'm supposed to watch.
And you're off the court with your own. Once you start the ball, you're off.
But then when they were doing this,
So, if it goes in, once it goes in, then you go like this. Chop. But if it misses, you don't do anything because they're going to chop. Okay? your arm up, and if you have to chop, you do, and if not, then you just look.
You chop
What's
with
the
the left
purpose
hand.
of taking a step?
To get a better look on the rebounders.
Ankle.
Because they're pressing the boards and it's higher like a
So it's with the left.
Yeah, I chop with the left hand. So chop with the left hand, count with the right. So to make it put it down. It's not chop.
So start here. So you're counting the 10 here.
Count with
And
the right
ask,
hand.
count with the right hand.
Count with the right
Count
hand.
with the right hand, chop with the left. All right, got it.
Yep.
Block. 2 shots.
Just come right
10, 23. Block. 33.
Are you
of you go to when you start getting in a real game, you just take a breath, do all of your stuff, and try not to do it. 12 signals a minute.
Take the time to stick the whistle out so you're
Take your
not
time. It'll make it look like you know what you're doing, you know.
Make up.
120, hit 2 shots.
Two shots. Come on out. Yep. They see it. That's good. Hold it up, Ryan. Two.
One shot.
So try to get out. Yeah. Try to, and what Stacy was saying, get wide. At that second shot, so you can watch the whole line. They have room to run. You get a little wide out there.
Not that wide, like halfway wide. Okay?
We've gone through it, Stacy.
Everybody's done? Yeah. Okay. That little exercise kind of incorporated a lot of stuff we did week 1, week 2, okay? So a lot of you still need to work on your whistle, because some of them are weak. I think you can hear the difference between when I blow my whistle and when you have just a little, okay? So practice. We need to practice all of our mechanics and what they're called. Hit, block, hold, make every signal needs to be sharp. So don't just kind of rush through it and do some haphazard. Like if you go like this for a hit, you know what that looks like to me? Looks like an intentional foul. So make it distinct, okay? So all those things we need to practice. Every time we move on the floor during a dead ball, we want to hustle to our spots. So I was telling these guys, you know that old walk and talk thing you see the pro refs and the college refs do? We don't do that, okay? It's just how it is. So hustle, everywhere we hustle during a dead ball. And it goes without saying we're going to do that with a live ball, okay? The last part here is, the last thing I wanted to mention is it's really important for you to communicate with your other ref, okay? Because if Kelsey's on a little island and Roger's on another little island and she thought he called a 1-and-1, but he had a 2-shot foul and there's no communicating, we're gonna get in trouble. That's why we go through that stupid exercise. You hear that he said 2 shots, but make sure you verify. And the person up here, get your hand up in the air, okay? Don't kind of do a little secret. It's not a secret, okay? Get it up there. Same as when you're in the key and you're telling the players and everybody in the gym how many shots there are. 2 shots. It's not a little secret code, okay? it's really important. We get in so much trouble because we think we know what's happening, but we don't really know what's happening. Okay, so just get in the habit from the beginning of making sure you communicate. So the other thing we need to talk about tonight is substitutions. Okay, so let's say we have a free throw, and so I told you before, when can the sub come in? It's a 2-shot foul, so when can the subs come in?
After the first shot.
Before the last shot, okay? Before the last shot, and on a 2-shot foul after the first shot, okay? And a 3-shot foul after the second shot. Okay, so if you're the trail, you're checking behind you all the time. You're checking in between shots, okay? You see somebody there after the first shot, tweet, sub, okay? And you keep your arm up until you know that somebody left the court for that person, because we don't want to have 6 and 5. Because then we're giving the other team free shots and it's our fault. Okay?
But for a 1-on-1, would you do it before the first or
Yes.
not do it?
Yep.
It's before.
So you potentially could do it this one and this one.
Yes, you could have 2 opportunities. These are all hypotheticals. Okay? So let's say you turn around and there's like a pile of people there ready to come in, like 7. Okay? What I do is I say, okay, there's 3 for white and 4 for black. And I make sure, I turn around and I make sure I see 3 and 4 leave the floor for those teams. Okay? If you do that, you're always going to be correct. Either that, or you're just going to let it all happen, and then you're going to have to stand there and count 5 and 5. And you don't want to count like this, okay? That just doesn't look real professional. But while all that's happening, if you're controlling the subs, you have to leave your arm up. Communication, right? Again. So that your partner doesn't put the ball in when you're still counting. Does that make sense? So we're going to do this same exercise, except this time we're going to split in 2 groups because that took really long. So we'll have half down here and half down here. Try to stay out of each other's ways. We're going to do the same thing we just did, except before the last shot, we're going to bring in a sub. Okay? But before we get there, during the rest of the game, okay, who's responsible for bringing the subs in? Trail. Mostly, it's the trail's responsibility, but the lead can help, okay? Again, if you see after like a travel or something and we're going to go this way, and the lead sees their subs and the trail hasn't called them in, just say, hey, we have subs. And your partner brings them in, it's all good, okay? So it's really everybody's responsibility, but you're right, it's the trail's book responsibility, okay? The biggest thing about subs is make sure you don't bring your arm down until you know that we have 5 and 5, okay? And there's all kinds of rules around subs, like they have to be to the table on a timeout, they have to be there before the first horn, or else they can't come in. You can read all that stuff in the books, we're not going to worry about it now, okay? So let's go half and half. Yes?
First of all, when you said you're watching the people leaving the court, another reason to do that is see the numbers of the players that are leaving. It's because of one of the rules that has to do with substitution.
Thank you, because we should talk about that. So what's your other thing?
Well, the other thing for me is, like, when I hear you guys ask for the ball, so the trail's coming down here, he's going to be the lead and the administer, I always use please and thank you. Ball please. Because to me, it's just a big deal to let them know that, we're glad to be here, use your manners, that kind of stuff. It's just, and I think the players appreciate it. So I always use please and thank you whenever I'm doing anything. If you want some player to run and get the ball for you, you don't just send them off and say, hey, ball please.
That is so true, okay? Just kid runs and gets the ball, hey, thanks a lot. Okay? If we treat them like human beings and not something else, then they might treat us like human beings. Probably. Okay? Okay, last thing about subs though. If a player leaves the floor, that player cannot come back on until time is elapsed on the clock. So we have a foul, coach makes a substitution, and then before the last free throw, that guy shows back up at the table, we can't let him in because no time has come off the clock. So we have to be aware Sometimes it's hard, but we have to try to be aware of who left so that we don't bring them in accidentally, inadvertently, illegally. Okay?
But they can come in on the next step ball, right? After time's elapsed.
After time is elapsed, they can come in at any normal sub-time. Okay? Okay, so...
They can still sub after the last shot if it's made too, right?
Correct. Okay? Yeah, so you're standing there, you see the sub. As the trail, you see the sub, shot goes in. Tweet!
So, are you asking if the sub that just left can come back in?
No.
Okay.
Just in general, making sure, because they didn't, you guys didn't mention it, I was making sure that was still
In that
valid.
case, they couldn't, right? There's no
Right,
time.
they couldn't
have to inbound it
Anybody
first.
else could, but that player can't come back in until the time's run off.
Also, sub for shooter.
Did you say something?
Sub for shooters. Sub for shooters.
Sub for shooters.
Yeah.
So if there's somebody there for the shooter, and they're like, I'm going in for the shooter, obviously they can't come in before the last shot. So as soon as the last shot happens, if it goes in, you bring it in. And typically we'll look at each other, either say shooter, so everybody knows, or sometimes I'll do this to my partner so I know, so that he knows that I'm just not blowing off the sub. So we, again, communicate, right? Acknowledge. So the opposite of that time elapse thing doesn't work the same. So if I come on the floor at a free throw, and then for some reason my coach changes her mind or his mind, they can leave. As long as they don't leave for the person they sub for. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay? So I can come in for Jay, right? Jay's off there. Now Jay can't come back in till the clock starts, but I can go off and Roger come in for me. Okay? Okay, so let's split half and half. We're going to do the same drill we just did, but it'll go faster and then we'll get together. Okay, so the trail's going to make a call. Okay? So they're going to call it, you're going to call the foul out here. The table's over here where I am. So you're going to come over and report to me. And then what do? You're going to stay out here. Because you're always going to be in front of the table. The calling official always ends up in the trail. So all you do is go to the other side and get everybody ready.
White 23, hit. 2 shots.
Blue 22, push, 2 shots.
Okay, and then you come over here.
Get 2 shots, 2.
So you can see. Outside hand.
Red line, sir, red line. Hold that in. Hold that in. There you go, red line.
2 shots.
Hold back.
1 shot.
And cute. You gotta get used to that. And do your arms out here. So the table can see. Okay, let's go.
Start over there. It's lead, right? Yeah. Trail's gonna make it out here. White, 2-2, hit.
What's up? What's up? On your release.
Hey, but you have to leave your arm up. Basic white whistle. Don't turn your back. So you guys go around the floor, you never want to turn your back. Okay? So you never want to say, sub. Right? Just back up. Sub. Okay? Okay, so go ahead. How many shots?
That's a good point. A lot of times the leaders see the sub as they're coming up. You know, you have your back to it. So they'll say, hey, partner, there's a sub coming in. Sub. And then just let your partner know. And then they can do it. Because if you say on the release, then everybody will feel like they can come in and they can't.
Good shot. Here's 2 shots.
Sorry. Thank you. Sorry. All right.
goes up. Yep.
Your arm goes up. As it goes through.
1, 2, volley, one shot.
Becca, I do that.
Ball, please. Thank you. All right, shoot two. Shoot two.
Two shots.
angle should you be at relative to the end line? 45, right? Even on a free throw. So I don't want to see you guys like square here. I want to see you like a little behind so you can see their feet, but you can also see those two players opposite. Okay? 45 degrees.
Gotcha.
I don't want this. It's subtle, but it gives you, your peripheral vision is completely different. Okay? Are you confused? Yeah. Okay. Gosh, there was something else I was going to say about this. The sequence you do out here with counting and arm up should all be with the same arm. Outside arm closest to midcourt. So you count, up, maybe you chop, maybe you don't. All the same arm. Count. Okay? Okay. Are we good?
I think so.
Okay. Last couple things, and we'll do this quickly because we don't have players out here, so it's hard to really demonstrate. Hold on. Okay. So everything we've talked about has been in the front court. We haven't talked really about transitioning. Okay? So let's make believe this is the court. Okay? And let's say we have, go ahead and be a trail. You can be the trail. And also you be the lead. Okay? So we have a shot, and we're going to go this way. So when we go down the floor, you're going to be the new lead. You're going to be the new trail, right? Position is to now let players get behind you. So this is no press, this is just a straight up, we're going down the floor. My challenge is that you should get to the end line before the ball crosses midcourt. You should hustle down to the end line, looking over your shoulder. Okay, you don't want to run like this because you can't help. So you run down, and when you get to the end line, then you stop and turn around. As opposed to coming like this. I don't want to see that. Okay? You're looking over your shoulder, you're not looking at the ball, but you're looking at the players in the middle of the floor. Okay? Because he's got the ball. Your job is to trail, is to trail the play. So if Harold's dribbling the ball, you want to be like 2 steps behind and 2 steps outside. Okay? So if you go steps go that way, you go the other side of the floor. Okay? So you're kind of leaving down the floor, but you're behind. Okay? This is just a straight up transition. We don't have a press, we don't have anything. What's important to remember is he's not looking at Harold. He's looking at the space between the defender and Harold to see if the defender is fouling. If there's contact, we have to know who caused it. So looking at him bounce the ball isn't going to help us with that. Okay? Now, if nobody's defending him, he still wants to trail the play, but now the eyes go down here. We'll look to see are they setting up in a zone or man to kind of mentally prepare ourselves for what could happen. Okay? It also allows us to look ahead, so maybe we see a screen coming, so we can referee them. So the trails, 2 and 2, okay, all the way down. The lead stays ahead, looks over their shoulder, referees the middle of the floor. Now it gets more complicated if there's a press, okay? And to me, a press is more than 2 defenders in the backcourt. Okay? If there's 2 defenders in the backcourt, I would bet any of you guys could handle that. Okay? 2 defenders. If there's more than 2, that new lead needs to stay at help. Okay? And a good place to start is like midcourt, you know, and try to help out as best you can. Now in this situation, some players may get past you, but you can't run down there for 2 and leave 8 here. Okay? It's something you can only learn by doing it, but I'm just telling you, you want to start there, you want to look again in the middle of the floor, not at the ball, your butt down. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Like I said, you can't learn it without doing it, and we don't have a scrimmage yet. So when we have our scrimmages, I'm going to ask teams to press so you can practice. Scott, anybody, is that okay for transition?
I think so.
Anything else? Hold on.
So Stacy,
Yes.
you're trailing behind the dribbler,
Yes.
and they end up dribbling this way, so I'm trailing over here, then my lead would switch sides if I end up on this side?
And actually, you don't want to go farther. That's a really good question. When you're back here as the trail, you don't really want to go farther than the midcourt. So if he goes farther over there, you're seeing him. Yeah.
Okay.
But you just want to stay connected. So if you call a foul, it'll just
We'll just come to that half court, follow me up.
real good. We have a 10-second backcourt, so we have to count that all the time, but for sure when there's a press. We get to 10 before they cross, 10. Okay? If the ball's in the air, heading over the front court, when you get to 10, it's a violation. Because the ball doesn't have front court status until it touches something in the front court.
So it can be in the air, and in 10 seconds it runs out.
That's a violation. Hi, Glenn. What'd you get here? I didn't see it. That's okay. Okay? Is that all good?
If you're like count 9 and they throw the ball, once you hit 10, no one's touched it, it's still a violation.
If no one's touched it, or it has to touch something, the floor, the player, the backboard, it has to touch something. It just can't be up there. Okay? Anybody else on that transition stuff? Okay, the last one. The end of the quarter and the end of the game. Okay? At the end of the quarter, or the game, the trail official is responsible for signaling that the quarter's over. Okay? So, typically, what I like to do, but you talk about this with your partner, okay? When you get inside of 30 seconds, which is a shot clock period, I always like the two people to say, you know, we're inside a minute. You can do it at a minute, that's fine. I like to do it at 30 seconds. So if your partner doesn't acknowledge you, it's okay, because at least you know that you're inside a minute. You don't want to be running around like this and being distracted trying to look at your partner. And you tried. Now, if your partner's oblivious to the clock, at least you know the horn's going to go off and you're not going to be surprised. Okay? So the trail official, when the horn goes, you want to acknowledge it like this. Okay? Make sure I'm doing this right. Okay? If a shot is up and has been released before the horn, you're going to either give this if it goes in, or this. So those are your options. It's going to be this, or this. Okay? Is that good? And the trail is 99% of the time is going to be the person doing that. We don't want to have two whistles, because what happens if Q thought it was good and the lead thought it wasn't released in time, now we're going to have a difference of opinion. So it's the trails. Now, if you're the trail and the shot is so close that you don't know, it's cool. You can talk with your partner and then come out with whatever you have. Okay? Okay, so remember, you get inside a minute to whatever your comfort level is. Okay? This means we're at the end. Quarter, game. Okay? And then we get to the end. Tweet! Is that good? We just need to make sure we have a whistle, like somebody's paying attention. Okay? Now once you start using shot clocks, then it gets a little bit more tricky, because then you have to keep track of both clocks. But we're not going there yet, because you probably won't use them for a little bit. Okay? Anybody have questions? This last piece, you can't practice unless you're running, which is what the scrimmages are. Okay? Questions? Anybody?
So you're signaling end of time, you blow your whistle, but the shot's still in the air, so you don't do any hand signals until you see what the shot does, right?
Who marks the three-pointer if it's shot? Who marks that? So at last second shot, It's usually from here, right? It could be from half court. You got to mark that, right? You got to mark
What if
it.
it's a 2-pointer in the air?
2-point. You don't. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah.
So you just you blow your whistle. and
Yeah, you
stand
just
there?
blow your whistle, stop. That's it.
No, but if it counts,
Oh.
you blow your whistle because now the quarters, you're indicating that the quarter's over, but if the basket goes in and you think it's good, then you count it.
Right, but if quarter's over, the shot's in the air, I just stay here until I see what happens with the basket, right? I don't signal anything.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless it got off late, and you right away.
Then you call it out.
Right.
Okay.
We were told not to wave off the final time. You just,
Okay,
that's
so
it.
this is a college.
That's
high
just a
school.
wave off. If
Randy, help me out here.
Yeah.
High school. Do we not do this? Because this is what we do up there. Do we just go like this?
to stop the at the end of the.
If there's no shot, we just stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if there's a shot and we know it's a late,
Right,
hit
just
with
like
a
you said,
late
yeah.
shot,
All right,
we go right
I'm
off.
mixing up mechanics books. So the only difference is the horn goes, you go beep, and then if the basket's made, or it's made, then we're good. Okay, don't do this. That's a different mechanics book.
Instance where the shot didn't get off in time, and
Right,
you
then
get
you-
that wave. Yep.
That's the only time. You don't want to just do that just because.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me. Anybody have any questions about this last bit? Okay, so we have rules on Monday then. We need to have you guys get your quizzes in. A lot of you are working on them. Thank you very much. Our last on-court session here is next Thursday. If you attended all 3 of these and you don't feel like you need to learn anything else, you don't have to come. But if you wanna, we're gonna review a lot of the stuff because some people missed the first session, some people missed the second one. So we're gonna review everything basically that we covered, just in bits and pieces. Okay? So that's what next week is. If you can make it, I'd encourage you to do it, but I understand. Okay? Yeah, and then we're gonna have scrimmages, and then you're gonna go out. If you guys have any questions, make sure you contact one of us. And if you need a medium shirt, and they're free in a pile over there. I'm sorry I ran out of the big ones.